Hey yo, what is going on, viewers of the tube? If it's your first time here, I'm your host Tyler, and welcome to the channel that, just like taking an airplane out of a third world country, when we begin, you aren't sure about what you just did. But don't worry, we always land safe. You know how we take off. It's time for Chico Crypto. So let's start today off with what Chico does best, some good old fundamental research. Now, many of my top picks recently have been coins who are involved with trusted execution environments, TEEs. So first, what is a TEE? It's a secure area inside a main processor. It runs in parallel to the operating system in an isolated environment, and it guarantees that the code and data loaded inside of the TEE are protected with respect to confidentiality and integrity. The TEE alongside system is intended to be more secure than the classic system called REE, or Rich Execution Environment, and it does this by isolating itself from this and using both hardware and software to protect data and code. This is one of the next steps forward in Web3, creating secure hardware that can run alongside all the secure cryptographic software and code being created daily. And the crypto projects that are involved with trusted execution have been on my radar with a fury lately. iExec RLC is involved with Intel and their SGX technology for its trusted executions, announced back in May of 2018. Quietly, iExec has been moving with a fury regarding this. Full documentation of TEE end-to-end encryption, Intel SGX, and then in their most recent updated project white paper, you get a thorough idea of how trusted execution is used in their secure cloud computing solution. From the doc, our solution is twofold. Firstly, the iExec software supports the execution of tasks inside a trusted execution environment using Intel SGX enclave technology. And then in March, iExec was invited by Intel to the RSA conference, where they demonstrated how Alibaba Cloud will provide encrypted computing power on the iExec marketplace powered by Intel SGX to support the iExec Trusted Execution Environment solution. Now, who presented at this conference is important. Xiaoning Li, Chief Security Architect at Alibaba Cloud. Now, Xiaoning Li is a major member of the IEEE, the world's largest professional technology organization, and stands for Institute of Electronics and Engineering. Well, there was an IEEE conference in 2019 on dependable and secure computing, and a call for research papers was put out as seen here. If we scroll down, we can see who is a part of the experience and practice team. Xiaoning Li, Alibaba Group. And as we can see here, the IEEE has done research papers on blockchain-based decentralized cloud and fog solutions, challenges, opportunities, and standards. If we dive into the paper, we can see they looked at 3 platforms: Golem, iExec, and Sonam. And looky here, down below, they break each of them down, and iExec is the most robust, providing all cloud models and checking the most boxes of needed features. It's obvious iExec is getting the global look for secure cloud computing. But in that research paper, there is something, and it shines a light on something that leads me into my next topic regarding TEEs. From the paper, Golem and iExec rely on oracles to define whether the computation was successful and to trigger smart contracts to execute when the terms are met. However, the oracle itself must be trusted, since it can arbitrarily provide any info, irrespectively of the truth. Therefore, the oracles used by the projects can directly influence the decision-making process and reduce trust. There are several proposals for decentralized oracles that could mitigate the dependence on central authorities. Reference 9, which is shown below. Oracleize is referenced, and smartcontract.com. Going to smartcontract.com, oh, it's Chainlink. So we know Chainlink and their Oracle solution is going to be highly involved with the Trusted Compute Framework from Hyperledger Avalon, announced way back in October. Seeing who is involved gives you the heebie-jeebies. Intel, iExec, Alibaba Cloud. Seeing those names pop up everywhere with TEE. More big names: Baidu, BGI, and Chainlink. And then just a few days later, in October, after the Hyperledger Avalon blog post, we learned of how Chainlink is involved. driving demand for enterprise smart contracts using the trusted computation framework and attested oracles via Chainlink, which, if we go below, was co-authored by Eugene Yarmosh. Eugene Yarmosh is Intel's system architect and TCF technical lead. Yes, Chainlink is the lead on attested decentralized oracles. iExec is the lead on cloud computing. And of course, we can't forget Enigma, who just like iExec has a long-standing partnership with Intel. And this partnership with Enigma and Intel was reinforced again in December of this year, when Eugene Yarmosh and Sanjay Bashki of Intel co-authored a blog post on their secret smart contract solution, including encrypted states. But most of this is known, and we have uncovered it before on this channel. But there is another company besides Intel working on trusted execution environments, and I predict from my research we are going to hear something soon regarding Chainlink's involvement. And that company is AMD, or Advanced Micro Devices. So before we get into what I have found regarding the breadcrumbs, don't swarm me, pigeons.
You know, it actually hurts.
We have to look at this tweet from the flannel man himself, Chainlink founder Sergey Nazarov. He gives some insight into what could be coming. I've played PC games on and off my whole life. They've always helped me step back and gain perspective, almost like a modern form of meditation. Never thought I'd be playing a game of myself though, a link to the game. It's truly special. Thanks at Pure Nukage for making this. Now the game is pretty dope, but to tweet about it, it doesn't make sense to me. As Sergey, he never tweets himself, he only retweets things. Last actual tweet when he wrote something was all the way back in March of 2018. So from that tweet, I've played PC games, Sergey might be dropping a breadcrumb of his own regarding a partnership announcement with AMD, as AMD is a major player in the gaming sector, with hardware partnerships with just about everybody, from Microsoft to Sony to Google Stadia. So AMD is actually securing their foot in the hardware server and cloud computing sector. This came with the release of the AMD EPYC in June of 2017, their brand of microprocessors specifically made for the server and embedded systems market. Thanks to EPYC Rome, the second generation platform, EPYC was able to secure 3.4% market share in Q2 of 2019, double the share of microprocessors compared with the same time last quarter. And the list of companies adopting EPYC grows every day. Big names on the list include Amazon Web Services, IBM Cloud, Microsoft Azure, OVH, Twitter, Tencent, and even Google Cloud. Now, just 3 days ago on Saturday, AMD announced their own trusted execution environment, and it was going to be added to Linux 5.6. Added this Saturday morning to the crypto queue for Linux 5.6 was the AMD TEE driver. Below, they describe how it works, as well as an image. The AMD TEE driver is focused on AMD APU support, supports sharing memory between the normal and secure worlds, and acts as a rich execution environment, communication agent for submitting commands to execute on the secure processor. Running on the AMD's secure processor, meanwhile, is the AMD TEE Trusted OS that is loaded via firmware. So we gotta go back a little to understand the TEE of AMD. Now, the EPYC processors of AMD are secured through AMD's Root of Trust technology. Hardware proof of trust provides foundation for platform security. So the foundation is the root of trust, but this allows their EPYC processors something Intel cannot provide with their SGX. Secure encrypted virtualization, or protecting virtual machines and containers from each other. And there has been a ton of research behind SGX versus AMD technology, showing how they work and actually testing the chips. Intel Core i7-6700 versus an AMD EPYC 7251. And what they found was interesting. Overall, the AMD tech performed better, and regarding use cases is more suited for securing legacy, large, and enterprise-level applications, while Intel is more suitable for smaller cases. Now, regarding the secure encrypted virtualization, outside research it has been done by Usinex, the Advanced Computing Systems Association. This paper isn't all good. They were actually finding exploits in the SEV. But we can figure out what AMD is working on with the next generation of SEV, SEVES or SEV encrypted state to stop these attacks. And from the abstract, we already get an idea of what the problem was. The results are alerting. Not only have we discovered attacks that breach the confidentiality and integrity of these I/O operations, which we find very difficult to mitigate by existing approaches, but more significantly, we demonstrate the construction of two attack primitives against SEV's memory encryption schemes, namely a memory decryption oracle and a memory encryption oracle, which enables an adversary to decrypt and encrypt arbitrary messages using the memory encryption keys of the VMs. It's oracles that they couldn't figure out. And who is the hands-down leader in the space regarding decentralized attested oracles? Chainlink, my friends. Now, Chainlink God on Twitter got me diving down this rabbit hole. 2 days ago, they tweeted that a BizForum LARP was making some calls. The linked one. A partnership will be announced on the final day of the Consumer Electronics Show 2020. And they give a hint of who. BNE. Shift each letter one to the left. And you get AMD. They say they can't reveal anything or else it will jeopardize their identity. They give crumbs of their own. Look into EPYC processors, which we did. And the biggest problem with their TE? Oracle vulnerabilities. So could really an announcement be coming at CES 2020? Well, yesterday they gave a press conference and CEO Lisa Su gave the keynote. It could have happened yesterday. I shot the video before it happened, but most likely not. BizLARP says the last day, which is January 10th. Well, here's the thing. Just 3 weeks ago, AMD joined the Blockchain Gaming Alliance, focusing on pushing the industry full steam ahead. The founding members of this alliance in April of this year were Ubisoft, Ultra, Engine, and Consensys. And guess who in December announced a partnership with AMD? Ultra Blockchain. And looking at Ultra, they pumped because of it, but man, it's still a super low cap of under 7 million. Well, in early January of last year, AMD made moves with a founding member of the alliance, besides Ultra, Consensys. Today, Consensys announced a collaboration with Abu Dhabi-based Halo Holdings and AMD to develop optimized data center solutions for emerging blockchain workloads through the creation of Web Cloud. Now, Consensys is focusing on building the future of applications for Ethereum, including Enterprise. And guess who joined them in 2017 and is now the executive of Enterprise Mainnet Products and Technology? John Wolpert. We all know who he is. Now, John is looking heavily at Chainlink. He owns it, saying he may be slow to recognize, but he is not stupid. And then in a Medium article with the Crypto Oracle, he answers a question about Link. I'm interested in how Chainlink can promote the notion of using a Ethereum mainnet as a common integration hub, magic message bus, for any kind of system that needs to pass parameters between functions that live on different state machines, whether those are blockchains or not. So Chainlink is on his and Consensys' radar, who are connected to AMD, but you need more? Well, Chainlink has also announced a partnership with Web3 Foundation as oracles for them in Polkadot. Well, just going back to the Blockchain Gaming Alliance, we know Consensys is a founding member, but looky at the bottom. Also, the Web3 Foundation is a part. Could it be coming a partnership with AMD, or could it be just a bunch of internet nonsense? Well, January 10th is 3 days away, and I'm keeping a close eye. Cheers. I'll see you next time.